Hello, my space nerds. As with every month, we are going to dive in on Star Citizen's latest monthly report, look at what they've been doing to develop the game, get us some new ships, new features, new locations, new things, new stuff, new news. And we're going to do it just like we always do. We're going to go through all the gameplay, check out the good stuff. It looks like there's no core gameplay update here, which is the most disappointing. And then we'll come back for ships. We'll bring out the ship tracking ship sheet, and we'll put in all our entries so we can see when exactly things will be happening and when ships will be landing in your hands. Thanks for coming, checking this out. If you're not here live, consider it. We do a lot more chatting and stuff live than makes it into the video. But as always, we're going to start out here with AI. Let's dive right in. Following the launch of Alpha 4.8, the AI content team began closing out tasks for Alpha 4.9 and beyond. Alongside the usual bug fixes and ongoing initiatives from the previous months, the team looked into technical fixes to help streamline the process for adding content into the game. The Alpha 4.9 patch is going to be a very important one for the narrative design of the game. I've been saying this, as the team is contributing to two very large elements that will lay important foundations for developing narrative in the Ultimate 1.0 vision. AI features and tech. On the animation side, significant work went towards the mass retargeting of male to female combat AI assets, with additional support for unconscious and bleeding out behaviors. The devs also made track views for an upcoming event and restructured how melee attacks are tweaked for NPCs with large attack sets. Prototypes are then implemented for the Valakar. For example, the team simplified the setup of burrowing animation types, fixing the path patching to improve movement along dynamically generated positions. And they improved the API for tracking damage to NPCs to trigger motive actions. They also refactored how AI triggered states work and improved debug shortcuts for controlling time and teleporting. All right, animation. Last month, the animation team progressed with the Apex Valakar, fleshing out various additional attacks and animations. They also captured new enter and exit animations for upcoming ships alongside work for a new full-body mission giver. I wonder who that is. Exit and enter animations for upcoming ships. I wonder if that's for NPCs, players, or if they use both the same. She's gonna have her own place in the verse. Oh, okay. Wonder what place that'll be. Just for everyone who knows, this is going to be in Levski. It's already there, but it doesn't look anything like this. It looks like she's gonna be lower down in the asteroid now. Originally, her place had a view over the entire borehole. The facial animation team processed a significant amount of new content for April's performance capture shoot, which will appear in Alpha 4.9. As this content will be split across comms calls and in-person interactions, it was processed at different quality tiers to ensure that everything players sees close up with really shine. Dude, what that tells me is that we're going to call and meet somebody, which is nice. This goes all the way back to their very first planetary landing, where we saw the first this is the first time anybody in Star Citizen ever landed on a planet, and you can tell.
Like put out.
And then it took about 15 months for us to be able to do it. But during this time, you also got the chance to meet a mission giver. It was the first time we really learned about what the heck was supposed to happen in terms of narrative in Star Citizen. And it really got people excited for how these narratives could play out. I'm going to show you this first meeting, and you'll hear how they kind of talk about it and set it up.
Doing things.
This is old Levski.
Carrying on their own little conversations, moving around. So you sort of feel like it's a living world, whether there's 50 other players there or there's just you. So let's just head up here. We're gonna find Cafe Muzan, which is where Miles Eckhart is hanging out.
Glad you can make it. Grab a seat. Sorry for the locale. Don't look like much, but the homemade stuff has some kick. Anyway, a job came in late last night. Some idiot hauler cut through low-sec space, got his crew vented. Company needs to retrieve the ship's black box to claim insurance on the lost cargo. Should be a romper job. Get in, get out. All my people are tied up with bigger ops. So I figured I could use this as a chance to make a new friend. I'll send the details. Let me know if you're interested.
So the idea behind these missions is that they are actually not that different from the missions you're normally doing, but there's some narrative to them. When you get out and do them, something changes, something mixes things up. You get a call from the NPC that requires you to go and do something else that you didn't expect. In general, these are just supposed to be less predictable, more interesting versions of the kind of stuff we're already doing. Many of you will remember Tessa Bannister. She did a lot of missions where she would just want you to go and drop off like a box in some area or find a ship or something. Super simple things, but because she was there guiding you through it, people loved it and they miss it.
Okay, we're downloading the black box. Poof, download complete. So there we are, objective complete. We retrieved the black box. We just made 3,000 credits. Mission's now complete.
Buy yourself like a
security job
pack
we
of
have.
ammo.
And we've just now got a video message coming in. So let's listen to that, Glenn.
Got the black box data and verified it. I'll send it off. Great job. You know, I'm just gonna throw this out. But I ended up talking to a couple of contacts of mine. Turns out the pack that hit that ship are squatting in an old facility on that nearby moon. I'm just talking here, but it's not crazy to think that they're keeping the cargo there. These outlaws are scum, so it's not like anyone will miss them. That company's gonna claim the insurance. So it wouldn't technically be stealing if you happen to head on down and take it. Again, I'm not saying anything here. I'm just gonna send along a location on that moon and do what you want.
So at the end of all of this, you do go out there, you take down all the people, you kill all the bad guys. At the very end of it all.
Find anything good? If you don't mind, I'll just have a look myself.
That doesn't sound very good. Don't know about that. What do you reckon, guys? Oops, daisy.
A little bit of gotta wait for the stage.
Looks like we got double crossed.
So the point being, there's more narrative, there's more interaction. It takes longer. It's a little bit better. But as is being said in chat, it's also Star Citizen. So, you know, if it works, I'm sure it's going to be great. But it has to work. Let's get back to it though. Let's keep talking about it. So the team's also excited to see players' reactions to the return of Recco Battaglia. Interesting that they don't name a new mission giver here, but then they say Recco Battaglia here. I wonder if this is somebody different. A new full-body mission giver. This might actually be a different person than Recco. As this will be the first instance of a new old character returning to the verse with new content and missions, they're excited to see players' reactions to it. Yeah, I think this is a different mission giver. That's very cool. A lot has changed within the pipeline since their debut, so this will be the first time players will be able to draw immediate comparisons. Facial Animations also held 2 performance capture shoots with the narrative and motion capture teams, which will cover content for 4.9 and 4.10. Okay, can we officially put it to rest, everybody who thinks we're going to go to 5.0 after 4.9? CIG themselves are naming 4.10, and I think after we saw what happened with the 3.x branch of updates, pretty clear that they're not going to stick to that naming convention people expect. We will get back to the ship section in a little bit. First, we're going to move on to weapons. Art on the weapons side. In May, the weapons team ensured their content was ready for Alpha 4.8, including the Castac Arms Plasma Grenade and the Ultiflex Novian Crossbow, and a handful of skins for upcoming events. Meanwhile, the team progressed with the new large caliber weapon, which is currently in gray box. New tech is also in the work that will require cross-team collaboration over the next few months. material polish passes and updates for existing weapons continue to progress as well. All right, some news about the community meetup in TwitchCon at, there's a meetup at the Rotterdam TwitchCon, I believe there was. Yeah, and then China, France, Korea, Switzerland. Sweet. Economy. Alpha 4.8 saw the introduction of 2 new major economy features. First is ship insurance adjustments, and second is player-crafted items. Consumable prices were also adjusted, and components now have a wider price range, with prices of grade A military components in particular being adjusted upwards to give more of a sense of progression. Are military A-grade components back in the store? Continuing on in economy, the data aggregation pipelines were broadened, resulting in several mission archetypes receiving a balance pass based on player behavior data. To support future economy updates, the team began standardizing the price and volume brackets for crafting resources. Okay, that's good. They're also working on new ways to make the resource, commodity, and trading systems more intuitive and transparent for players. I think crafting was a really big part of getting some kind of economy to make sense, because now they can start to see what we're focused on making, what missions we're running, and they can balance things a lot more based off of actual player psychology and like habit than just, hey, there's new content, let's play it's broken, we're done. There's things we're actually trying to do. On the shop implementation side, the team supported DefenseCon by setting up new shop items, including commemorative
Thank you very much.
ship weapons, flight blades, flight suits, and vehicles. This allowed all the items on display within the expo halls and lobby to physically spawn and be interactive and purchasable. I guess that was a new update from before. The team even redressed the coffee to go concession stand to fit the DefenseCon theme. It's the most important thing. You guys remember the coffee machine around the verse? Remember the bartender episode? Oh my god. Lastly, with the introduction of flight suits, a pass was done on some of the existing shops across the PU to ensure 2 of them could be purchased. Moving on to graphics, VFX programming, and Planet Tech. The majority of graphics team focused on optimization throughout May, making significant improvements that will come at a later date. Alongside this, the team further optimized and refined the visuals for the global illumination system, in addition to adding depth output support to all parallax mapped surfaces, which allows them to benefit from our full rendered feature set, such as screen space shadows, reflections, and directional occlusion. The Planet Tech team made large strides with Genesis as they look to close out the last elements of the core technology and move on to polish, performance, and stability tasks. Recent work focused on critical pieces of technology, like GPU object spawning, the virtual terrain cache, imposter rendering, and the spawning of creatures and minables on V5 planets. Alongside this, the teams continued to iterate on visual quality while ensuring performance is kept in check. Genesis makes progress, but I want to be clear here because CIG is not. I don't know why they do this. But CIG named something Genesis, and what they named as Genesis, I don't think is what they are saying is in polishing. To further explore this concept, let's go back to their own showing of the Genesis system. This is when they rolled out the idea of what Genesis is. Got Water Guy and Ali Brown, who is the person we probably reference the most when we're talking about progress updates for Planet
Citizen
Tech.
Con.
Yeah. So let's start with some introductions. This guy over here is Will Hain, aka Water Guy or River Guy.
And this lovely gentleman is Ali Brown, pusher
Captain
of Pixels
Planet.
Extraordinaire.
And we're here to tell you about Phase 1 of Genesis, which we're entitling The Laws of Nature. And this revolves around the fundamental approach we use to build our planet and is the literal foundation for everything else we're going to talk about in this talk today.
So, you notice something key he said there?
And we're here to tell you about
Listen how he
Phase 1 of
describes this.
Genesis, which we're entitling The Laws of Nature.
Phase 1 of Genesis, the laws of nature. If you look at the bar at the bottom here, you can't really see it because of the things there. You see the bar at the bottom here, the chapters are labeled Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6. Because Genesis is like a whole bunch of different things. the planet tech that they've been
Let's
talking
talk about how art might make
all this
every
stuff.
corner of every.
It's just phase 1. There's also phase 2, which is locations. I do think this is included. I think they're actually just putting this in phase 1. Because this is Starkitect, right? This is the stuff that Ian is working on. And this is stuff that Benoit confirmed on Star Citizen Live earlier today, that they want to get both Starkitect and Planet Tech in on this first drop. And if you look at the release view and you go to the roadmap for Star Citizen 1.0, you will see that there is one thing for Planet Tech V5 Genesis and another for Starkitect Genesis. So these two they want to deliver at the same time, but there's also still dynamic weather from the Genesis system. There's also AI improvements for perception and taking cover. There's also global illumination, which was included here, lighting and sound. The sound effects that they mentioned. You guys remember this?
So there's
Like
one
the
more
Doppler
example for
effect
you.
and stuff like that.
Now finally, oh, not finally, we have ship.
And then obviously the big one, dynamic weather. So I think that once again, CIG is going to start to confuse people when they say things like, we're making strides with Genesis. and then people go like, oh, sick. Well, this Genesis is like, there's just a lot of stuff with Genesis. And then it comes out and it's like, no, it's actually just the Planet Tech and the Starkitect, which don't get me wrong, it's a big deal. Those are the most exciting parts for me. 2 best parts, but I think it's just kind of funny because it's once again, CIG's like named something and then the naming is like kind of consistent. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. It's more a little thing to laugh at for space nerds. Let's get back to the report. Mission design. Last month, the mission design team progressed with Recco Battaglia. Yeah, dude. Everyone loved to hear it. They also worked closely with narrative and core gameplay to ensure the mission provider interaction and flow is as desired for the initial release. What I'm wondering is if they're going to instance her. Do you guys think that Recco Battaglia's location is going to be instanced? Like they'll just have it be where you walk into this location and it instances her so that you can meet with her and somebody else can meet with her and all that stuff? Because what I'm wondering then is like, how do you make sure that if 2 people are walking in here and they're in a group together, they don't go into 2 different instances? There's got to be some kind of really smart logic behind that, or else you're just going to have these really weird moments where you walk through a door and suddenly the people around you are not there. So yeah, like this would be flooded with players now, right? There's 10 times as many players per shard as there were back then. Man, lag ski was really in full effect back then. So I'm wondering if it'll just, that whole room will be instanced now. Progress was made on the redesign of an existing event that aims to push the boundaries of what is possible with a single instance. Sounds like Siege of Orison. The original was designed around combat, but as the game has grown and matured, the team are now able to tap into new methods and gameplay choices. Let's go, bro. Yes! Yes! I love to hear an FPS encounter has a little bit more interesting, fun elements to do. The team has also focused on creating a faction focused on non-combat gameplay from the Star Citizen 1.0 plan. We were just covering that. I wonder who that would be. Maybe that's who they were talking about as a new faction coming in soon. Elsewhere, the Municipal Works... Oh, that was a leak. The Municipal Works is currently going through mission blockouts to get it to the first playable state. Once the design is signed off, full production can begin. This is another fairly important part of the game that's being worked on. Municipal Works were originally supposed to be an R-Corp, moved to Levski, and will likely be the second major location that gets instanced. Ultimately, it's meant to offer people localized gameplay. This is the kind of gameplay I think a lot of folks have been waiting for, where you can basically spawn in the city and choose to either go out and spend your day exploring space and doing all that kind of stuff, or stay in the city, run little box delivery missions, clear out the underground areas in the city, do some salvaging or something within the city limits. Here's the first time they introduced this in this new final form for
There's
Levski.
still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026, and what it means for progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our Building Interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works. So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers, old processing plants,
Melting
industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines, which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see in Lorville, you won't see in I-18 or the other landing zone. It's the pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course, metal and tunnels and more structural place, but you will also see a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place you go to fix stuff.
Hey, don't judge my
Not
vacation
everybody
spot.
has what it takes to come down there and do the job that needs to be done.
All of your sewage systems have stopped working. Everything's going to quite literally. And so the player is tasked with their group, most likely, to go into their...
But imagine taking a sniper down there. I guess maybe there's...
take out the
some
outlaws
ways.
and get the facility working again.
So it's probably gonna feel a lot like Rock Cracker, but this is a local mission. That's what's big to me. This is them being like, we want to give you gameplay that takes you to cities, rather than constantly spawning in a city and needing to get out immediately. And the hope is that this expands to more of those landing zones, along with Starkitect, adding various locations around all the moons. This should give people a lot of a better ability to just kind of play the game in one area and not constantly get dragged everywhere, or maybe not even need a spaceship to play the game. That's where I want to be. So this is probably a 4.10 kind of thing, the Municipal Works, which means we're doing Siege of Orison in July. That would mean Municipal Works likely in September, which would then mean Nix 1 most likely to be the big focus drop in November, whatever patch that is for IAE. So they'll drop Nix 1, probably a new faction, and a big story beat right as they're bringing in IAE as the big sale. And we're probably going to have another replay-ish of 4.8 as we get a really big patch, right as we also have the biggest sale of the year. Hopefully they handle it better. But we're starting to be able to put together how the rest of the year is going to play out now that we know Siege of Orison is in July, Municipal Works likely in September. As mentioned in last month's report, the narrative team held a performance capture session, which not only brought back a familiar face, but also recorded lines for revamped existing mission. Huh. That's good. I like that. They also captured content for NPCs encountered during refueling gameplay to allow them to expand the variety of voices heard in those missions. Hey, can we get that for the people under attack missions as well? I'm so tired. What are you doing? The battle's over here! In the same stupid voice every time. The narrative team also began adding a variety of contracts that will bring more gameplay to the verse, not only for upcoming events, but for some expanded evergreen missions. Evergreen, dude. So they better be evergreen. Additionally, they created lore for new harvestable flora, wrote scripts for several new mission providers, including solidifying the narrative of their organizations. Probably new callable talking heads. And they provided support to both the UI and environment art teams. The narrative team said, thanks to all the players reporting issues that they find, the team has been knocking out recently discovered narrative bugs as quickly as possible, with many small quality of life fixes expected to make their way into Alpha 4.9. Online technology. The online services team continued their work on several key player-facing features, including the social MVP feature, social chat feature. I hope so. Let's get that, please, soon. Which is being built to enable in-game text communication between players. Alongside this, the social systems pipeline continued to grow, with friends, online presence, party viewer, and orgs each formally tracked as upcoming deliverables for future milestones. This dude, I think something really I don't know. It feels like they completely misjudged the social tools situation, or they planned badly for it. I don't know, man. But like, this is crazy that we're still getting updates just kind of saying that they're gonna come in at future milestones. This should have been a summer delivery. Sheesh, dude. The first iteration of item recovery was included in Alpha 4.8. The team is currently supporting this feature with more improvements coming in the future. Planning also kicked off for the maglock system as part of the item recovery feature set. A significant focus in May was to address live game stability issues tied to the contract system. Huh! Yeah, this is a big one. This is a focus for everybody that even saw Star Citizen. The team identified that the current contract system generates far too many database entries, causing overloads and performance instability for players. 2 critical tasks were created to reduce the number of database entries and improve how contracts are filtered. I can't speak towards this being a problem. I'm glad the problem has been figured out. Database always seems to be where the problems for this game stem from. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that, eh? What is the maglock system? The maglock system is part of player stores, actually. So it's good thing you asked. It's actually kind of important. If we go back to, at least that's where I've heard it talked about. I don't know if it's something different, because they do talk about it in terms of item recovery. But you can kind of hear him talk about it here when it comes to a player shop and selling stuff, wherever that is.
The second method is to set up a physical shop in the world. By using the decorator AR we saw earlier with Luke, you can maglock items and then list them for sale. Once again, browsing players, they can see the price of the maglocked item, purchase it, which then removes the maglock.
So that's generally where I've heard them talk about maglocks. I don't know if there's anywhere else he might have mentioned it, but I think in general the idea behind the maglock is it's just going to let you secure items even when they're out and about, and it'll be a way for you to have things visible and interactable by other people but not movable. Essentially a permission system on items. The team also tackled reliability improvements to mission rewards and is putting better diagnostic tools in place, making it faster to identify and fix issues with missions and contracts not appearing. The Live Tools team continued to deliver improvements across all of their key tools, while also shipping several notable releases. For Hex, the team released version 3.39, which introduces new player support capabilities. Updates include improved entitlement tracking. This is like the things that you own from the store, an expanded account ownership view, and more. Hex, I don't think I can get you guys a view of anymore. It used to be on the Turbulent website, but ever since they got acquired, they don't have that stuff anymore. It's just disappeared off their website. Man, that's a bummer. So yeah, Hex is basically the software that they use internally, the app they use to track all of like the players' stats within Star Citizen. A follow-up release, 3.39.1, kept Hex's blueprint data in sync with the latest service. Throughout the month, work continued on the Hex 4.0 redesign, including a new design system and UX foundations that will shape all future Hex modules. On the Bootstrap side, the team continued reliability work throughout the month, addressing developer-facing issues like server failures, performance bottlenecks, and configuration problems. Technical planning for a full Bootstrap client overhaul was kicked off and is now moving from research to design and implementation planning. Finally, R&D. May saw the R&D team implement tweakable multi-scattering in gas clouds, similar to the multi-scatter solution used for planet clouds. This smoothly blends between forward and backward scattering, driving the phase function, depending on the visibility of the light source of a given sample point. Support began for lookup tables in the ray marcher to recolor gas clouds based on their local density. That's cool. The ray marcher loop was further optimized by skipping significant sampling and lighting work at locations where density amounts to 0. Makes sense. Additional optimizations will speed up noise LOD calculations as well as making the target opacity threshold of clouds configurable. So a lot of optimizations on cloud stuff. For those who maybe remember, I want to say, I don't know, before Crusader came in, before gas clouds came in, we would hear them talk about gas cloud work every single monthly report. It's a lot of work the way that they do the gas clouds in this game. Furthermore, numerous fixes and improvements were made to the integration of an experimental temporal upsampler borrowed from Planet Clouds. Lastly, out-of-bound writes in the gas cloud ray marchers were fixed for Vulkan alongside a sporadic GPU hang due to the introduction on non-linear stepping, which is mentioned in April's PU report. And there you have it. Features, technology, functions, systems, that is what's going on in Star Citizen right now, and our first looks into 4.9 and 4.10.